welcome to Girl STEMpede. Our guest today is Lauren Williams, a software engineer at Goldman Sachs. Hi, Ms. Williams. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
So before we get into our actual questions, I wanted to ask you an icebreaker, which is if you could meet any female in STEM in history, who would it be and why?
Ooh, there are a lot of good ones to choose from. I think the one that sticks with me the most is Ada Lovelace. We learned about her way back in high school. I know you're in high school now, but for me, it was a while ago. And I learned about her in my first ever computer science class. She's regarded as the first ever woman programmer. She was born in the 1800s, so it's kind of a while ago, and it's not exactly the same sort of programming that we do today. So didn't have an actual computer, but she did implement the first algorithm as a woman. So I think it would be really cool to meet her and hear about her experiences back in the day, because I know it's changed wildly in like the 150 plus years since she was alive. So I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I took a computer science class last year. It was about the history of computer science, so we learned about her in terms of, the front runners of the industry and who, started it. So I know a little bit about her, but she would definitely be a really cool woman to meet. My first real question is, could you briefly tell us what you do and could you take us through your typical day at work? So what's your favorite part, your least favorite part, etc.?
So I have worked at Goldman Sachs for about 3-ish years now. I've been on a few different teams. The team I'm on right now is controllers engineering. So what my team does is we deal with all of the loans that go through Goldman Sachs, and we help support the accountants who do so. So they have certain business functions that they need the calculations run for or whatever it is, and we help to program that for them. So a typical day, I start early in the mornings. We have meetings with our stakeholders. Since we are a global company, we have teams kind of around the world. And when you're in New York, it usually makes the most sense to have morning meetings. Sometimes it's really late night meetings too, but kind of your afternoon is free, right? So we'll have meetings with our stakeholders in the morning. And then in the afternoon is when I'll have time to actually do my project work. So I'll kind of be able to code and do what I do there in the afternoon. What I love the most, I love the intelligent people that I get to work with. They kind of say it when you're first starting, like, oh, you're going to meet some really smart people. Like, they're really great here, but it's so true. I really enjoy interacting with other people in STEM. And then also the accountants that we work with as well. Everyone is really smart and really is passionate about the work they do, which I love. My least favorite part. Quarter ends are not fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of strict deadlines that you kind of have to work towards. We do as much as we can in preparation before that, but as the engineering team, we have to support everyone who works towards the quarter end reports that we have to do. So we're working a lot during just those 4 times a year, though. It's not too bad.
I imagine that could be a little bit tedious. But so you mentioned that in the afternoons you're usually doing coding on projects. Do you have any projects that you're working on right now that are particularly interesting or anything like that?
Yeah, so one thing that's really cool is my team works on capital as well. So we have all of these different types of loans, and other people at the company want to see if they're getting a good return on their investment or not. So one of the projects we're working on focuses on that and showing our stakeholders, like, is this loan or is this business specifically worth it or not? It's not so cut and dry as that, right? But it really does help our stakeholders to view that a lot. So that's kind of what I've been working on lately. And I do really enjoy it. You get to use a lot of new technology a lot of it is in-house, like within Goldman, which I like. And I haven't used a lot of it before. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. That sounds awesome. I don't know much about that, and you did a good job of, dumbing it down for me. Like, I understand what you're talking about, and I think in general, coding and software engineering is difficult. So it's a good quality that you're able to explain something that's a little bit more complex.
Of course, I always try. There's no way to get other people interested in anything STEM related if you speak at too high of a level.
That's very true. And I think that it's a real marker of intelligence when you're able to, make things simpler, because that shows that you have such a deep understanding of the topic that you're able to, deconstruct it rather, and just find the key parts that are, easier to follow. Did you always see yourself pursuing engineering and working at a company like Goldman Sachs, or did your interest in STEM evolve as you matured?
So it definitely evolved as I matured. I was always kind of good at math. My parents are both accountants, so I have that gene in me. And it's so funny, when I was really young, people would say like, oh, do you want to be a ballerina when you grow up? Things like that. I always said I wanted to be an accountant because I looked up to my mom and dad and that's what they did. So I always knew I was kind of good at math. And then in high school, I was ahead in some of my math classes. So I had extra room in my schedule. So I decided on a whim, and with the help of one of my teachers, she kind of pushed me, one of my math teachers. She said, oh, why don't you take up computer science as well? Like, you have this extra room in your schedule. And that's how it kind of evolved into, maybe I do like computer science as well. So that's how it kind of started off with math, but I was always in this, obviously the M in STEM is math, but I've always kind of been in the general area. And then eventually when I was picking my college major, I focused on engineering. Once I picked engineering, I never looked back from there.
Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I think that teachers in general, and it's an interesting point you bring up that it was really your teacher who first introduced you to computer science, because I think teachers have a really, really important role in the education of young women and just young people in general, because a lot of the time they're the ones who are going to be pushing their students into new areas and, encouraging them to take classes that maybe they wouldn't already know about or wouldn't already have a background in. And so I think that in your experience that you were able to find something that you really enjoy doing because of your teacher, I think that's really important.
Yeah, definitely.